looking at Master Teacher Jesus again, and unity, Jesus is seen as the way shower, someone who was in a more modern time able to take in his Christ consciousness, to live that imago Dei, that image of the divine, and to see that in everyone, and to be more concerned about that. I was on a podcast years ago. We're talking about mental health, so I was doing my mindfulness work, and it's with the bishop, beautiful woman bishop, and somehow I shared this story about when I was in seminary. This one professor I had who said so let's give a context. There used to be a day when Bibles had that what Jesus said was in red. So the New Testament, when you're reading the Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, the narratives of Jesus would be in red, right? It's called the red letter edition. Because these are the words of Jesus. I don't know why they put them in red. It should have been purple or something. But anyway. And my professor said it was more important that the things that Jesus did should have been in red. Right? So it's the actions. And so, yes, I even talk about how people love, Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights. Little sweet little baby Jesus in the crib, right? We just love our little sweet baby Jesus. Or you have these pictures of Jesus. Miss Catherine was a lady who lived down the street from my Aunt Patty, and my aunt and her house had the exact same setup. But she had this hall, and down at the end of the hall was this picture of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, as blonde and green-eyed as he wanted to be. I used to look at that. It's like, right? But again, here, serene. I mean, he's praying. There's like a halo around him. He's giving, and that's, again, people are multi ways of being, right? But again, that type of Jesus is easy to swallow, easy to put up with. And so those are the narratives. But when you take a look at the actions of Jesus in the context, right? They say, well, he died for our sins. Well, he actually got executed, not because he was doing anything that bothered the Roman government, but he was doing something that bothered the theocracy that was part of Israel. So theocracy is a government run by their religion. And so that's why when you see, he's constantly hitting back at the religious leaders, because they were also the political leaders. But yeah, if you want to control people, you're not going to talk about Jesus in that way. He was meek and mild and like a lamb led to the slaughter for your sins. So feel guilty because of that. Because he was a nice man. He had to die because you're such awful people, right? I mean, there you go, right? There you go. There's the story. And yeah, but really looking at how this person understanding that the image of God, the imago Dei, is in everyone. And that, so even the people that were irritating him, he was still trying to love them, but it's like, you're not going to keep hurting this group of people because it's better for your power, because it's better for your own image, because it makes you feel better. That's not what this spiritual path, this religious path that Judaism that they were practicing, he felt that it wasn't what that was about. And so, so we talked about, there's a whole series of, look at him. So these are the church people who are also the political people. So these are the people in positions of power. Watching this young rabbi, because he had some sort of ministry, he hangs out with the wrong people, with those prostitutes and publicans and tax collectors. And I always say to them, my God, people done hated the IRS forever, right? And these are tax collectors, right? But they work for the Roman government. They were taking money from the people that were oppressing. And so instead of saying, maybe we should be more inviting of these people, no, they just condemned them for it. And how do you think those people felt? To be in the presence of this person who was accepting and loving them, and in some ways it transformed them. I talked about the story of Zacchaeus. Sang the song, Zacchaeus was a wee little man. Okay, enough of that. But he climbs up in a tree because he's trying to see Jesus, and Jesus says, hey, I'm going to your house. It's just like, okay, invite yourself over. No. And in the midst of that, of Jesus being in his house, accepting him, engaging with him, he just spontaneously says, if I've cheated people, I will pay them back. No, not just what I cheated them, 4 times the amount. Right? That again, in the loving presence of someone who is embodying their oneness, their Christness, that real transformative power of love, it changes people. Yeah.